My name is Akira. I was a cellist with the Sendai Philharmonic Orchestra. On that day, I was practicing in my studio for a concert that evening. I was working in my studio when the earthquake struck. I knew it was a bad one. The ground would not stop shaking. The ceiling started to collapse. Warning sirens started to go off. Loudspeakers started to warn of the coming tsunami. I knew I had to rescue my parents. They were dependent on me. They were in their 80s, old and frail, and couldn't drive. I left my studio and drove straight to their home. There was lots of confusion on the road. Cars, trucks, motorbikes were going in every direction. Driving was difficult. There was so much panic happening around me. But there wasn't time to save my parents. They were confused and tired and couldn't fully understand the danger we were in. Even though I urged them over and over, I couldn't get them to the car in time. They didn't want to leave home. When the tsunami hit, we were in the living room. I was holding my mother's hand as the water forced its way into the house. Water was coming in from everywhere. Within moments, the water level rose past knee-deep. I held on to my mother as the water rose higher and higher. I was getting pushed around and finding it difficult to stand. I saw the water level was well above the window sill. Then the door burst open. The window shattered and the water tore us apart. I saw my mother go under as the floating sofa struck her. My father, who was holding onto a bookshelf, went under as the bookshelf fell on him. The last thing I saw was my father's arm vanish underwater. Somehow, I managed to stay afloat. It was like being in a huge washing machine. I had to fight for my life against the swelling current, against the floating furniture, against the debris from the house, and against the rising water. I rose with the water and reached the skylight at the top of the room. Outside, I could see the water rushing by. In it were houses, buses, cars, boats, animals, and wreckage from everywhere. I saw families clinging to floating rooftops. A huge ship just flashed past. The water rose higher and higher. I found myself crushed into the ceiling. There was only a narrow band of air between the ceiling and me. I had to turn my head sideways to breathe. I was certain I was going to die. I waited for the water to overcome me. But then, as suddenly as it came, the water started to recede. After what seems a lifetime, I was able to place my feet on the ground again. I started to look for my parents amongst the shattered, upturned house, but they were nowhere to be found. The tsunami took them away as it went. I spent the next few weeks looking for their bodies amongst the wreckage of the town. But their bodies have never been found. More than 15,000 people died that day. More than 4,000 are still missing. My parents, along with others, were swallowed by the dark force of nature. A nature so dark, so immense, so destructive. It flattened all forms of life within seconds. There was absolutely nothing anyone could have done to stop or avoid it. Life is no longer the same for me. The sound of the sea is no longer sweet to my ears. It brings deep trembling within me. I don't go fishing anymore. Even the rain on the roof sometimes makes me tense and nervous. Why I was spared when so many were drowned? Everything seems so hopeless and unknown. I tried to understand what happened to us that day. At first, I tried to cope by myself. Then I tried to run away by drinking. My cello stayed neglected for a long time. Then I joined a group of people who had similar stories to tell. We were able to talk through it together, over and over. I still go to regular sessions with them. We relive each other's stories as we try to scale down what happened to us that day. Now, at least I can tell my story without breaking down. But I don't think I can go back to before the tsunami. It has changed my life.